Dolphin Radiators and Cooling Systems, which was our first company. We have been in Sharjah since 1968.
What was the original vision behind the company?
We started manufacturing our own in-house, locally made in Sharjah, in Ajman, in Abu Dhabi.
MashaAllah.
We have a specialized group of companies, which cater to various industries, and we are exporting to almost more than 75 countries today.
How did Dolphin grow from a small radiator workshop into a global player in heat transfer manufacturing? Hi, how are you, Mr. Muaz? Good to see you here at Sharjah Chamber. Please first introduce yourself and then we can talk about different stories and stages.
Hi, my name is Nuruddin. I'm the Managing Director of Dolphin Global Holdings, and we have been in Sharjah since 1968.
Mr. Muaz, the founding story of Dolphin in Sharjah in 1986. Can you tell us how Dolphin started back in 1986 in Sharjah? What was the original vision behind the company?
So Dolphin Radiators and Cooling Systems, which was our first company, which was established in 1986, started as a small, humble, small rat shop, by a bold vision, to create high-level thermal engineering solution products made locally in the UAE, competing with the rest of the world.
How did Dolphin grow from a small radiator workshop into a global player in heat transfer manufacturing?
So Dolphin, from being a small rat shop, was a company which started with 5 people, and it was a hard work of our founder, Mr. Nuruddin. Well, he had a vision that he wanted to take, the rat shop into a global powerhouse. So what he did in the beginning, as the infrastructure boom was there, he followed the infrastructure boom. He started with servicing of radiators for cars. Then he went into brake linings.
Amazing.
Because every vehicle would need radiators, they need condensers, they need brake linings.
Correct.
So this was the early beginnings, so he was more into the servicing side of it. Then as the market grew, there was a need for air conditioning, so we went into, the HVAC air conditioning side, where we used to start servicing all the air conditioning units, then split ACs, window ACs that time, chillers. And then, from there we went into the oil and gas industries, we went into the marine industry, because this was like heat exchanger, heat transfer was the need of the country, of the Middle East, where infrastructure means construction. Construction leads to, building ports, building roads, building bridges, building, commercial and industrial buildings. So every building will require a heat exchanger or a heat transfer product, in terms of air conditioning. Every vehicle will require a radiator, a condenser, a oil cooler.
Yes.
So these are all the products which by default it was driven by the demand, and Dolphin took advantage of that situation,
Also the improvement and the changes that happened like between year to year, and all the company and industry need to competing these changes. Mr. Muaz, can you give us a closer look at Dolphin's key products and how they've developed over years?
So Dolphin, as I said earlier, we started as a rat shop servicing radiators.
Yeah.
Then from radiators, we went into, say, marine, oil and gas, air conditioning, then petrochemical, desalination water plants. So all this was all to do with the servicing side of the business. As the market grew, we had a lot of international players, international brands we were competing with. These international brands and international players, what they lacked was they would supply the plants, they would supply the equipment, but they didn't have a local service team, where they could continuously maintain those equipments. That's where Dolphin had an advantage or an edge among, the foreign global players, where we started servicing. Then we went into the trading. So we started getting agencies for all those products over here. And then from there onwards, we went into the manufacturing side of this. And we started manufacturing our own in-house, locally made in Sharjah, in Ajman, in Abu Dhabi.
MashaAllah.
We started manufacturing these products, catering to various government entities. say like Diva, Fiva,
Amazing.
Siva, Ednoc, Enoch. Today we are not only just supplying to these government entities, we are also maintaining like annual maintenance contracts. For last 3 decades, we are maintaining so many plants. We have also been privileged to build a few refineries in UAE. Say in Abu Dhabi, in Fujairah, in Ras Khema, in Sharjah.
Also, I think internally and externally, like as internationally and globally.
Yeah, so today, from being just one company in Sharjah, we have a specialized group of companies, which cater to various industries, and we are exporting to almost more than 75 countries today.
MashaAllah, amazing. Every success story begins with difficult moments. What were the early challenges Dolphin had to face, and what lessons did you learn from them?
See, the early challenges what we faced, was trust factor. Because we were in a market where it was dominated by these international players, international brands. So for us to prove and to compete, we had to work very hard. We had to, knock doors. We had to also wait for sometimes days and months to qualify in certain companies, because pre-qualification was very difficult, because all the foreign players, they used to dominate government jobs, or even the private companies were massively, all from the foreign countries. So UAE was a very new country back then, in the early 80s. And our challenge was, the heat. Our challenge was the environment. Our challenge was
the weather sometimes.
Yes, the weather, harsh weather conditions, because, the development is all on the shore side. So shore side, we get a lot of humidity, salty environment, and those kind of conditions. So what we started doing is we started, getting people from across the world, from different nations, from the neighboring countries, where they are used to such kind of environment, where they have been working, on site. So our biggest challenge was not in-house, but the biggest challenge was people who used to work on site.
Correct, yeah.
Because they used to feel the temperatures 50 degrees C,
Yeah, correct. Sometimes also choosing the great and excellent laborers to start with, it's part of challenges. Is it right?
Yes. People is the company. People run the company. People are like your partners, and they are also your, you would say like they're owners of the company. Because if you don't get the right people, if you don't have the right team, you will never be successful.
You will never success, yeah, correct. Mr. Muaz, moving to brand identity and market reach, what does the Dolphin brand stand for today, and how has your brand identity evolved over time?
So Dolphin, it's a company which is a people's company. We call ourselves, a Dolphin family. So Dolphin initially, the name Dolphin itself was a very eye-catching name, and people would not forget the name. So definitely when you are giving quality product, quality means reliability, quality becomes eventually the name becomes a brand, So the whole idea is to work towards how you can make your company a brand, because when it's a brand, people, they trust the product. So first it comes the service side, then comes the product, then it comes the after sales after you do the product. So a lot of projects which we have done in UAE is one of, like, it's been the first for many things we have done, So initially, because being a new country, new plants, new equipment, a lot of things was, we would call it engineering, reverse engineering. And then eventually, when over last 4 decades of our existence, Dolphin has evolved and they have become into a global company, and people not only from UAE, but people from GCC, Middle East, they all trust our product, our name, our service. And today, that is the fruit which we are now having, And the success story of Dolphin doesn't lie between or among the people, among the clients, but it's the trust over generation and over decades which we have proved ourselves.
Sometimes like the marketing and this like in social media give like loyalty and keep this company in minds and also assist in reaching to other like countries and places. Mr. Muaz, how do you market your product locally and internationally, and what channels have you worked best for you?
So initially, Dolphin was just a local company. We used to, cater to all the local requirements from the government for big private companies. But then, when UAE evolved and became an international country, where say Dubai or Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, so say Sharjah, for example. Sharjah, being the first seaport in the country, first airport in the country. So people used to first land in Sharjah. They used to have, they would see the industrial zones. Today we have Saif Free Zone, we have Hamria Free Zone, we have Sajja Industrial Area, we have the Sharjah Industrial Area. These are many of the first industrial areas in the country. So the people who have come from abroad and have invested were first, investments were done in Sharjah, and from there the growth has, started, and then they went to neighboring cities, and then they even expanded to neighboring countries. So the whole idea of, of promoting, Dolphin was, first locally. Then because of the international presence, then we had to go international. So we went to neighboring countries. We did exhibitions.
Amazing.
We did a lot of marketing campaigns, say in industry-related magazines. Newspaper was, a very big media at that time. Radio was a very big media at that time.
In the past, I think the newspaper and the street, like boards, TV and radio, it assist companies to success and reach to the people. But I think nowadays the social media affect this aspect.
Yeah, so see, radio and newspaper was the first medium, for marketing. And we used to be, giving advertisements on the radio, on the newspapers.
Yeah.
But then obviously, when the whole, the World Wide Web or Google came in place, then the world became a small, and the reach became large. And that was the need, and we had to go abroad, and we had to market in, international exhibition centers and countries. And road shows, so a lot of things which attract international, clientele was the need, because mostly if you see UAE, local consumption versus the export, has a much bigger role in the GDP today.
Yeah. Lastly, about like at this title, if we can talk about the logo. I think you started to create the logo. Why you choose this logo for this company? Like when I see it, like I see dolphin and earth.
So initially in 80s when we started, our logo was simple dolphin, and then we had a Raider. We had Raider and a dolphin, Then slowly when we expanded, we went into the cooling system. So we added the water waves. Water represents cooling, Then afterwards, when we became a global company, so we put the globe in the logo. So the dolphin represents eco-friendly or, friendly mammal, which is the eco-friendly environment we have within the company. So our staff or people, employees, the eco-friendly, is what represents dolphin. The water in feature at the back represents cooling. And the globe represents our reach globally.
Wow. Amazing. Moving to Sharjah, a supportive ecosystem for industry growth. Why was Sharjah the ideal place to start Dolphin back in 1986? And how has the city supported your growth over the years?
So Sharjah was a very obvious choice. Sharjah as being the first, say, airport or the seaport in the country, when we came back, our founder, Mr. Nuruddin, when he came to UAE, he landed in Sharjah. And that's where the whole journey started. So the initial, from the time he, came to UAE, then from there, he built, a small company to expand it to different cities. And then we went to different countries. Sharjah is a place where, you see families, you see people settle, you see, families grow, you see family businesses grow.
Amazing.
If you see, say, when I compare to Dubai, Dubai mostly is, filled with, foreign expats coming as bachelors working. But in Sharjah, you will see mostly families. You will see people who come, then they bring their entire, immediate family, the extended family. And when you see on the, roads, or you go to parks, you see different areas, like say Majaz, Al Khan, the beaches, you see a lot of family. So, if you are a family person and you have roots. So where we come from, we are from India.
Yeah.
And India, all families have, extended families are very big.
Also the Indian tradition here in Sharjah.
Indian tradition, we live in a joint family, So joint family is very important, for, especially for the head of the family, They want everyone under them to be part of them, either in the company or in living near where we are staying, so all can meet during the weekends and gatherings. And so this is our culture in our
to be honest, from our sides, we love Indian persons.
Thank you
people.
so much.
Their foods, their tradition, their kinds also when we deal with Indians people. So how would you describe Sharjah's business environment today for industrial companies looking to innovate and expand?
So
general.
So Sharjah, as I said, they have the free zones, safe free zone.
Yeah.
They have the Hamria free zone. Then they have the mainland Sharjah, industrial. Then they have the Sharjah industrial areas. They have so much land bank, for people to invest, and which is in close vicinity to the ports. So, if you, go to, say, the Khalid port, or, you have the Hamria port, from there, from the port till the industry area, the distance is not much. So the ease of doing business, in the beginning was you have a house close to the company, you have the port. So within close vicinity, everything was available, so that made it an ideal location, especially, if you are in the Arabian Gulf. And, from there, the reach to all the neighboring countries, it is, like the platform which Sharjah has set, especially the chamber has set, Recently, I see a lot of initiatives, like the road shows. I see the initiatives where the foreign delegations come to the chamber, and Sharjah chamber invites all the business leaders, investors in Sharjah. And we have all meetings, in the chamber where they give opportunities for foreign companies, foreign business leaders investing in Sharjah. And then through this whole meetings also, we have been benefited because we have had so many JVs, strategic partnerships. Today, we are supplying to, around 6-7 customers,
Mashallah.
Which was actually brought to us by the chamber, So we are very thankful to the chamber for that.
Okay, so focusing on this part, like Sharjah Chamber's role in Dolphin's journey, what role did the Sharjah Chamber of Commerce and Industry play in supporting Dolphin's regional and global growth?
Whenever this foreign delegation comes, to Sharjah or to UAE, Sharjah always makes sure that this investors or this delegation, are actually welcome to the Sharjah, chamber, and they are invited, and then there's a forum and there's a delegation meeting where they give us the whole presentation of all the advantages, why to invest in Sharjah. Like they talk about the free zones, or they talk about the industrial areas, they talk about the history, of Sharjah and how Sharjah has evolved, from being just a city in UAE to a global powerhouse where, a lot of companies which you see in Sharjah today have been exporting to more than 100 countries also, So, we have been also lucky enough that Sharjah has given that kind of platform to us. Even when it comes to industrial licenses, ease of, getting licenses, ease of manufacturing, this all, it's a single window operation for us, so that way we are very thankful for the chamber.
Amazing. If we can talk also in depth about the knowledge sharing platforms and new collaborations and partnerships.
So when we started exporting from Sharjah, so, we used to use, say the Hamria port, or we used to use, the Jabal Ali port from Dubai. And when we had audits, so people from outside UAE used to come and audit our factories, and then we used to take them around in Sharjah, and then we used to show them what is the advantages, when they used to come and see the Corniche or the beaches, or, all the wonderful, places to visit in Sharjah. Like right now we have the heart of Sharjah, we have the beautiful mosques, the parks. All the people from outside, they used to get amazed with the way, and Sharjah, if you see, is the Islamic culture city, of the world, And Sharjah looks more beautiful from the aerial view compared to any other city, here. Because if you see the water, you see land, you see the amazing domes, the government buildings. So this is what actually attracts, the foreign investors to come to stay here. And many of them have even made their second home.
Let's say the best place to establish in Sharjah.
To live in or for industry?
For industry.
Industry right now is the Sharjah industrial area, because the location is very important. Right now, it is on the strategic location of the highway between Dubai, between the rest of the Northern Emirates. So Sharjah, especially from last year, suddenly there's a boom in the Sharjah industrial area. And there's a new initiative by the Chamber of Commerce called the Qasimiyya City. The Qasimiyya Industrial City, today it's on initial stages, but very soon in the next 5 years, you will see a lot of boom and a lot of companies establishing over there. Yes, I have heard that they have already sold, the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and now phase 4 also is being sold out. And that is amazing, that so many foreign companies, even the local companies who have companies within the industrial areas right now, are choosing Qasimiyya City and Sharjah industrial area to expand their business, which is amazing because, being in Sharjah, if we are giving more opportunities, more land bank to industries, then definitely they will not go to other cities, and Sharjah is the obvious choice for that.
Moving to engineering excellence and certifications, Mr. Muaz, Dolphin is known for its strong focus on quality. How do you ensure your engineering processes meet global standards?
So Dolphin has, adapted to ISO standards. So ISO 9000, then we have ISO even 18,000, we have 45,000. So these are all quality and reassurance certifications by the body, which assures that whatever Dolphin manufactures, is reliable, it's quality tested. And this product, is now not just, it's a norm now, ISO. But then from ISO, we have also moved to ASME, which is American, Society for Heat Exchangers, where they have U-stamp, R-stamp, and most of the refineries or power plants or desalination plants, they require this standards and the certifications in order to approve, so we can install those, units. So this certified units is a testimony to what product and our quality, what we are giving.
Mr. Muaz, you've adopted several ISO certifications. What do these mean for your customers and operations?
So ISO standards right now will become like a norm, So first, if you want to, participate in any tender or if you want to pre-qualify in any company, ISO is like a norm. It's a standard where you have to be an ISO certified to first enter into their, into their business. Then, greater than that, then that's why we have adapted to ASME, we have adapted to CTI, we have also the first company in UAE to have HRI. HRI is American Heating Refrigeration Institute, where if you are a HRI certified company, then you can supply OEM, like York, Carrier, Train, Macway, to all the air conditioning and refrigeration companies, the OEM manufacturers. So we are one of the first companies in UAE to be pre-qualified, so we can supply to them as OEM, the condensers and evaporators what we are supplying.
Are these certifications assist in building trust between the company and another, like partnerships, let's say, or customers at general?
Yeah, definitely. Because the bodies who certify this are not only just from UAE, they are a global body, So for HRI, we had to actually bring people in for audits from USA. They come here, they stay here, they visit the plants, they visit our processes, they see the quality, material, machinery, and a lot of prototype samples are made. After those samples are made, then they are actually sent to US, to Europe.
Following the standard.
Yes, following the standards, because those products are field tested in those environments to affirm and confirm that they are, ready to withstand those environment conditions.
How do tools like APQP help you develop reliable solutions for complex industries like oil, gas, and automotive?
So APQP, is Advanced Product Quality Planning. These are some tools which Dolphin has adapted at a much earlier stage. Then there is even, there's FEMA, there is this. Those tool planning tools are actually used to make sure that you do not, your final product does not, the final product basically stands, tested, quality, approved. And, when it goes to the end client, they do not fail. So the whole idea to adapt this planning processes is to make sure that after, say, 1 year, 2 years, even whatever the life cycle of this product is, to mitigate those kind of failures, we adapt to this kind of planning processes. So this is some tools which are very important for large scale manufacturers, and we have been adapting this, and we have been using these tools for quite a few years now.
Amazing. Mr. Muaz, moving to product innovation and technology evolution, Dolphin has come a long way from copper brass cores to advanced aluminium radiators. How has your product range evolved over time?
Copper brass is a conventional technology. So back early in the 70s and 80s and 90s, copper brass was the only technology which was available in the automotive, marine, even in the oil and gas, gensets, off-road. All those industries was dominated by the copper brass technology. Copper brass is a good, copper as we know is a good heat conductor, So this copper brass technology, till the 90s was doing very well. But then came the prices of copper. When the copper prices shot up, the commodity shot up, So those prices, when they shot up in the world, people came up with different technologies. So they came up with the product aluminium. So to give the same advantages of copper, but how to make it more economical, how to make it more challenging, so we can, a product where we can compete, So as we know, technology keeps on, growing, enhancing. So for that,
should compete in these changes.
Yeah, and as the global demand was there, and when the bodies, when they found that aluminium also can give the same advantages of copper, plus other advantages were that aluminium as a product is cheaper. It's more economical.
Yes.
The advantages of aluminium is that copper is we have to bake, and for joint of copper heat transfer products. But for aluminium, it is a brazed product. A brazed product means it goes at high temperature, vacuum brazing and continuous brazing, where the bonding is much stronger. So first it's lighter, then it is more stronger. And plus it even has more, heat dissipation, properties, where it makes it more, heat transfer wise, heat dissipation wise, it's much better,
Amazing. What drives innovation at Dolphin, especially in areas like high efficiency, tube welding, and advanced cooling systems?
So Dolphin, from, product innovation point of view, from say radiators and cores and, getting into, other technological machines, like, we have invested into robotic welding now, so we have got a lot of robotic welding, and brazing lines, where, it gives, the product is more reliable, the welding and the brazing is more precision, and that affirms to the quality, So one is the robotic welding stations which we have. Then we also have the tube. So Dolphin has invested in 2 tube mills, which is the world's fastest tube mill right now. One is for the aluminium tubes and one is for the brass tubes. So we have been the first in this whole Middle East to have these tube mills, and they are all high efficiency welded tube mills. And other than the tube mills also, Dolphin is also the first company in Middle East. In 2004, we are the ones who have brought the aluminium product, the whole factory, the whole product line of aluminium based products. We are the first ones to bring the technology in UAE.
Mr. Muaz, you've recently developed products for electric vehicles, hydrogen cooling, and even crypto mining. How do you decide to enter these emerging markets?
So currently we are exporting to more than 75 countries. When we go, as far as North America or European markets, they have evolved into the electric vehicles.
Correct, yes.
Now that is a demand. And obviously we being a supplier to the automotive industry, we had to adapt, and that kind of requirement was the need. So we went into a lot of collaboration with the EV manufacturers. And due to certain NDAs, I cannot name the manufacturers who we are making the prototypes, but we are making the cooling systems, for those vehicles. So a lot of vehicles, what you see on the road are, the cooling systems which are provided by Dolphin, developed by Dolphin, So what that is for the EV markets. Then for the crypto, crypto mining, we do the cooling system, the fluid cooling systems, which we have developed, say for Bitcoin mining or any other crypto mining, we have provided, containerized cooling systems for, all the generation of the crypto, currency, production.
Comparing to the new generation of vehicles and the previous or the old generation of vehicles, what do you prefer?
Honestly, if I sit in a car and I start the engine, I need to hear the sound. I'm not a very big fan of EV vehicles. I prefer.
I totally agree, by the way.
Yeah, because I'm a car fanatic, and over the past, so many years, I
want to see also the petrol labors, let's say.
Yeah, there is, see, when you go to a petrol station, as kids, we used to enjoy the smell of the petrol.
Yes. And the market and
exactly. And it just feels more traditional. It feels more drive when you start the engine and when you hear the exhaust, and you feel like driving the car.
Yes.
When I drive an electric vehicle, honestly, I want to fall asleep. I don't feel like driving more than 100 kilometers. Yeah, because it's too silent for my good. I need a car which I can drive and I can control the car. And that is me, and that is, I feel, that is which will still last for some time.
Let's say the second choice. It's good for the second choice, the electric vehicles, and especially like to be like in every home, at least they have like one electric vehicles and the rest traditional cars.
Yeah, so I did for myself also. I did buy electric vehicle. I drove for 2 months, and after that, the challenge was to charge the car. So obviously, now there are more stations, charging stations now available in UAE. But back then, when I had bought it, very few. So if I have to go from here to Abu Dhabi and back, I cannot do without charging,
Correct.
Whereas fuel, you can do trips twice.
Mr. Maaz, moving to sustainability and environmental responsibility. Sustainability is becoming a global priority. How is Dolphin making its production process more eco-friendly?
We believe sustainability is not optional. It is essential.
Yes.
Dolphin facilities are designed with life cycle assessments to minimize environmental impact.
Amazing.
We continuously actively reduce carbon footprint by introducing energy efficient systems, smart resource allocation, and water recycle systems.
How has the Sharjah Chamber supported your sustainability goals or encouraged greener practices across the industry?
So Sharjah believes in eco-friendly environment.
Yeah.
They believe in green environment where people, breathe better, live better. So for that reasons, those practices have also involved among the industries. So to make sure that the air is not polluted, the whole environment where people work in, the working environment where people live in. So for those initiatives, what they have helped us is they have given us, roadmaps. They have given us, pamphlets. They have introduced systems where, as we make sure that within our company, whatever machineries we have, we make sure that the emission or the, all the dust collection or whatever, excess wastage disposal is there. Those systems, we make sure that they are taken care of in the right way and disposed in the right way.
Amazing.
Say, for example, there is a company called BIA, who are a waste management company. They are affiliated with Sharjah municipality as well. So any waste management which is, which can be recycled, are, given to BIA management, and they have the landfills where they allocate, different products in different areas and which are recycled. Say, for example, rubber, steel, even toxic, products are also, are disposed in such a way which doesn't affect the environment or the atmosphere within the living area.
Mr. Muaz, in what ways has Dolphin embraced digital transformation, and how has it impacted your day-to-day operations or product innovation?
So before I talk about Dolphin, I want to talk about UAE, how UAE has adapted to this. UAE has been a launchpad for the emerging markets, within the Africa, within the neighboring countries like CIS, Middle East. UAE has been, investing in digital transformation. And this, as the governments invest, this has brought, more close to the companies, the private companies like Dolphin, invest in digital transformation as well. Because when the country invests in something, the companies within the country follows that.
Yeah.
So being a launchpad as the first in many, from the emerging markets, the UAE, which has adapted Dolphin in 2014, we embraced, this digital transformation in terms of investing into the software called ERP, where ERP, which is used to basically what it does is that it combines all your business units, under one platform, under one dashboard, where you can see all the performance from the initial, buying till the delivery, stage. All the processes are controlled and are presented within that platform. So ERP is a very important tool, which I believe all growing companies should adapt to, should invest in, because that brings, it's a data collection point where whatever work you have done so far till date will help you in future. So all those, invoicing, resource planning, imports, material, after sale services, everything is within that Epic or ARP software which we have. And this, becomes like a data bank, which serves and helps in future. So one digital transformation was adapting and investing in the ERP software. Then we have done better resource control system planning, then better machinery planning. Then we have invested in automation, where, it's more not dependent more on people, but dependent more on the processes, where the control flow and the process is smooth, which helps in reducing error or manufacturing errors. And one way of doing is, when you do, say robotic welding, or automation, where we have processes, which are smooth in line, so automation, robotic, machineries, robotic planning machineries like, welding and brazings. And then we have then we have automation painting booths, so these are part and processes where we have in companies which actually help, in your final product to have a quality product which is not only locally recognized but globally recognized. So I believe this is some of the digital transformation, which we have adapted into.
Amazing. Can you share how technology has helped you discover or engage with the new customer segments or markets?
Well, adapting to technology is definitely, a norm right now, where it's not a choice, where you have to keep on adapting to newer technologies, because that the new technologies are going to be available, like in every new equipment or every new machinery which comes, it will have a new, new generation heat exchanger or new generation equipment. So if you don't adapt and if you don't, stay in tune with that technology, then you will not be able to serve that technology, or you're not be able to manufacture that, or you're not able to, use the technology. So everybody has to move in and, adapt. The same way Dolphin has invested, in not just softwares or machinery, but it also has, invested in people who know that technology, because you can have a product, you can have a machine, but to run that machine and the product, people have to have a know-how also, So we have also invested in this kind of trainings, workshops, where people have learned how to use and, those kind of machineries, because those are all high, PLC automation, where people without training, without, know how to use the machine, will not be able to run the machine properly.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, totally agree. What kinds of new partnerships or collaborations have emerged for Dolphin in response to recent shifts in the industry?
So before we used to cater, to the local vendors, to the local government entities. And now we have moved into global markets where we are serving the locomotive industry, we are serving the marine industry, we are serving the oil and gas industry, we are serving the petrochemical industry, desalination plants. Then we are also serving, say, data centers, EV vehicles. We are even serving, paper industry, pulp industry, food industry. So all industries we are catering to.
Variety of industries.
Yes, because, if you want to keep on investing in technology and product development, then we have to also invest in various different industries also. So you have to make sure that your product is actually catering to all industries, because that is called diversification, that is called growth. If you only are limited or you are focused on only certain industries, then eventually those industries will die as technology or as foreign markets come up with a new development product, So say, for example, people used to invest in hydro before. Now from hydro, now they, so there is solar energy, there is hydro, then now they come with the EV. So for example, if Dolphin would not be investing in cooling systems for the EV market, which is the future, then Dolphin, eventually the demand will dry off and our total turnover and affects everything, So we have to keep on adapting to this new technology.
Yes.
So, and technology brings also new, product development in new industries also. Like, who would have thought that Bitcoin would, be the new norm of currency globally? But today, crypto mining and cryptocurrency is there. So that's why people have all invested in crypto and currency, and in terms to mining currency, we need to also have the infrastructure for that. And this infrastructure is not something which anybody can, invest in. It is a very expensive infrastructure.
Yes.
So for that, we have to have this kind of technology, this kind of product to serve this industry. Then about data centers. Now, companies like Microsoft, Amazon, they have kilometers and kilometers of data center banks.
Correct.
Where they store data, because without data, they cannot feed the world, So storage is a big deal right now. And for that, they have huge land banks where they have all this data stored. To store that data, they need equipment. For that equipment, they need cooling systems. For that cooling systems, they need a supplier. For the supplier, they need a prototype who can adapt to that kind of product. And Dolphin has been successfully doing bespoke manufacturing for a lot of industries. Say for example, Etihad Rail, which is now, started with commercial. Now they go to get into the passengers as well. For that, they require a provider who can have, heat exchanges for their engines, who can do servicing of their, locomotive engine, because in future, tomorrow when the trains are running, as they run more, they need a service provider to maintain their engines and their, requirements for heat transfer. So Dolphin is one of the companies which can now cater to. So we had a forward thinking.
Yeah.
We thought about it 10 years back that, okay, Etihad Rail is coming up. We have to have products which we can serve to the railway industry in future.
Yeah.
Same way goes, with the solar energy, same way goes to the gas turbine energy.
Yeah.
So we have worked closely with Siemens, with GE, to not just enhance, but to expand power plants, in Diva, in Siva, even in Abu Dhabi, So, all those products which we are manufacturing or catering is actually for the future, because if you don't think now what will happen next 5 years, then you are already 5 years behind, because when that new product will come after 5 years, then it will be dominated by even the foreign players who have manufactured their product. But if you have if you have a local presence, of people who can service and cater to those products, then we will not be dependent on outside technology. Yeah. We have that same within the country.
Yes.
And that is our vision.
That will save costs also.
Yes, and that is our vision, to be locally available to compete with the rest of the world, and made in UAE proudly, if we can compete, if we are present here, then we don't need, foreign players to come and dominate this market.
MashaAllah. Best of luck, Mr. Muaz. Can you tell us about some of the key partnerships Dolphin has built, like with Diwa or Enoch, and how they've contributed to your growth?
So in the 80s when we started, we used to do only the servicing of, equipments, small equipments, radiators, heat exchangers, for Diva, for Enoch, for EGA, for MOPA, for ADNOC. Those are the few giant companies, which were, serving the water, electricity, power to the country. From servicing, we went into providing, manufacturing and providing those products to them directly, locally, And over the last 4 decades, what we have seen is the dependency on local service providers has increased. UAE has come with a beautiful initiative, the ICV, in-country value, and ICV encourages local manufacturers, to invest and to serve the industries locally and not be dependent on foreign players to, come here, charge a lot also, and also in terms of delivery. When you have a local provider, we can do on-time fast deliveries. But when we're dependent on foreign companies, then obviously the logistics, it takes a few weeks and months. So this is an advantage. And all the companies which I have named, we started with the humble beginnings with them as a service provider. Today, we are one of the companies which are actually maintaining their plants as well. So even all their air conditioning and refrigeration equipments we are maintaining, all their heat exchanger requirements we are maintaining. If they have any upgrade or if they have any tendering where they want to expand their plant, they are calling us because we specialize, we are designing, we are engineering, we are manufacturing, we are servicing, we are like a one-stop heat transfer solution provider for all the plants in the UAE. There are some amazing industries which are there in UAE. Like, for example, there is an industry for caviar feeding. So that is in Quwain. We had the opportunity from MOPA to make sure that this caviar farming is taken care in the tank farms at a certain temperature, and we had to go there for a few months. We built the whole platform, we built the tanks, we built the chillers, cooling systems required, which are all custom built manufacturing, because if you buy an OEM product from outside, it gives you standard temperatures, whereas we design customized solution where we can also do minus liquid chillers, which are minus temperatures, and our products not only last, in the deserts of the Middle East, but they are also in the mining zones of Australia. So we manufacture, from minus 40 degrees to even plus 60 degrees Celsius. So that is the advantage of Dolphin Group and capability, what we provide to the market today.
Amazing. Moving to future growth and vision. What are Dolphin's plan to expand its production capacity here in the United Arab Emirates?
Over the last 40 years, Dolphin has been continuously investing, not just in, say, manufacturing facilities, but also service facilities. Today we are in all the Emirates. We have presence in all the Emirates. We also have presence in North America. We have presence in Europe. We have presence in India. We have presence in other GCC countries. Now we are expanding to even Saudi Arabia. The reason being, the expansion is not only just for expanding the product range or, the manufacturing facilities, but it's also to be locally available to. So whatever we supply, we are there to give after-sales service also to our clients. And over the years and in future also, we have like how UAE has the UAE Vision 2030, even Dolphin has a 2030 plan in line with the vision of UAE. And in that, we are investing now heavily into 2 facilities, which we'll be announcing in the short future, about how that one premise can give a spectrum of all the services brought together in terms of engineering, in terms of technology, in terms of, R&D innovation hubs, facilities, in terms of labs, in terms of vocational trainings, So our goal is not just to grow as a company. Our goal is also how we can help the students, how we can help the young youth. They grow, uplift, technically, because when they are in school and then they go to university, and by the time they actually go and have a practical on-hand experience, there are a few years gap, whereas they can take the advantage of this facilities what we are planning to build, where they can have training while they are also studying.
Yes.
So certain universities, they have case studies, they have projects, and it's part of their case study and their programs which they take. In that, we want to have a facility where they can, if they're learning about, say, a air conditioner or heat exchanger or any product, which is in terms of engineering standard, we want them to come and also witness how it is made, and be part of this, project, So we want, to encourage the youth, and our idea for 2030 is to create 1,000 new more jobs.
Yes.
By this facility. It will be for all kind of nationalities, and as right now Emiratization is going on, so we are also in line with the requirement. We are in line with employing, so we have a goal to hire 500 Emirati local nationals by 2030. And
also you are the part of achieving the UAE vision regarding of the employee.
Yes. Yeah. So today we feel, that we are connected with the world, and UAE is, okay, it's geographically, it is the center of the world, the Middle East, UAE as a country. But today we feel that we are connected. It's just, a few hours away from everywhere, and today our people, or, the expatriates, or the local Emiratis, we feel that we are one big family, and this family, if we bring together, so all the Arab world or the expatriate, the Indians and the neighboring subcontinent countries, if we all bring together and their mind and their vision, okay, then there is no other country like UAE will be there in the whole world, and why today Emirates Airlines is the best airline in the world, because they have set some standards,
Yes.
Same way, if we all come together, become one, and one mindset and one goal, even we as individuals, you will make UAE as the best country in the world. And starting from our humble beginnings in Sharjah, today I want also personally that I want Sharjah to be in the world map. People, if they say UAE, they should know Sharjah, and this is my goal as well, and I want this to be for every person in Sharjah's goal. How you market Sharjah, like when we used to travel, I would talk to them about UAE. People would say Dubai, they know Dubai, then they know UAE. I want same way people to recognize Sharjah as Sharjah, and Sharjah means UAE. The same way people should invest.
The culture city.
It's the cultural hub of the world. Is a culture city, proudly called. And His Highness, he has, given all this years of his wealth, educational wealth, I would say, and people, when he talks about books, with so dearly, with wholeheartedly.
Book fair.
Yes, and that book fair is, I think, the number one book fair in the world right now.
Became, yes.
And why is emphasizing on these books to people to actually read? Reading is not only for your own knowledge. From reading, you will get many ideas which will actually help the future, because reading talks about what is the past and present. That only builds the future.
Correct.
So when we talk about books, that is why he's emphasizing so much on the books, to understand history, culture, past, tradition, past technology, today's technology. So in books is not only about, culture. Books is also about technology. Books
Knowledge,
is also about knowledge.
information.
Books is great
Development.
for everything, for mind development, and even for your own vocabulary. If
correct,
we
yes.
we don't need to refer to a dictionary. If we read books, we will know all the words.
Totally agree. And also, Mr. Muaz, it's our pleasure to have Dولفين here in Sharjah and to present Sharjah also internationally.
Honestly, it is my pleasure to be here today. It is my pleasure that I had the opportunity, to talk to, yourself in large Sharjah, to understand, that where Sharjah, is today and where Sharjah can go to. People, I feel, underestimate Sharjah. But Sharjah has everything available to succeed. If people truly understand, what all Sharjah has to offer, then Sharjah is not behind Dubai or Abu Dhabi, So I would request, and I even suggest people to come to Sharjah, to invest in Sharjah, to understand how culturally it's so advanced, also knowledge-wise so advanced, and what all facility actually Sharjah has to offer, to the youth, to the foreign people, to come and invest here, live here,
Finally, I would like to do something simple and light. I will mention a few words and I would love to hear your quick thoughts or message for each. Are you ready?
Yes.
The United Arab Emirates and Sharjah.
When you say United Arab Emirates, you're already using the word united. United means one.
Yes.
So all nationalities, around 200 nationalities under one place. This is the beauty of United
More than
Arab
200
Emirates.
nationalities.
Yes. Okay. And when you say Sharjah, there is a saying, smile, you are in Sharjah. And a lot of people, when they hear this, they smile. And there is a reason they smile. It's because when you come to Sharjah, you feel peace. You feel harmony. You feel that you are living
your country, your city, your family.
You feel safe. You feel inside positivity. As soon as you enter Sharjah, there is a different environment completely. Not the hustle bustle, not the crowd, but you feel people. You see smiley faces. You know you are in Sharjah. This is Sharjah.
Totally agree. What about your family? Your father, your mother, your wife, and sons?
I have been so privileged, being born here thanks to my parents who decided to come to UAE in the early 80s. Since I am born, I have just seen growth. I have seen growth in my eyes. I have seen growth in myself inside, within my, own body. I have seen that how people, adapt, learn. They see beautiful things around. They see, different cultures, So when my father, who's my role model, when I still remember each and everything, when he used to take me around the Buhera Cornish, and we used to, every evening, 9 p.m., after food, we will go and take the 6-kilometer round of Buhera Cornish. And he used to talk to me the whole day what he did. And this whole day what he did was actually his way of just, calming himself down.
But I can feel your emotion.
Yes, but in that whole process, I used to learn so much. Because he used to talk about his experiences, what happened in the morning, what happened in the afternoon, what he ate, how he prayed, what clients he met. Some say yes, some reject, some, opportunities, and when we come back and come home, then when I see my mother, she is very grounded. She's very down to earth.
God bless them.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. And, the love and affection you get, because when we take her around and I come back home, my mother is waiting. She just wants to see our reaction. That, she wants to see our happy faces. She wants to say, okay, we are, alhamdulillah, back home, and then she will just ask, how did the whole walk go? Every day we do this walk, every day she will ask.
This is the word of end of each day, let's say.
Yes, because that, whatever discussion or whatever I hear from my father, And that's why I call him my mentor, because he put that seed, and today, I'm here sitting in front of you. This is because of this reason. From one city to more than 77 countries we are exporting. This is also part and parcel of this whole learning and teaching, from this humble beginning. So when we start, the day, I have a habit of doing salam, so I go to my father, I go to my mother, we do salam.
Yes.
Today, my kids, I have a 17-year-old daughter, I have an 11-year-old son, they follow the same, though we live in different houses, but still they will come every morning before going to school. They will come, they do salam to me, though even if I'm sleeping, they'll do salam to me, my wife, and then they start their day. With that, there is a bonding, cultural bonding, family, that is the start of the day. So when you start like that, people look forward to coming home, because home is where the peace is, So no matter how much you struggle or how much, ups and downs happen in the day, as soon as you enter the house, you are so excited that energy is that, okay, you're going to see your kids, you're going to see your wife, you're going to see, the food, the dinner, the kind of whole day, whatever has happened, the stories we hear. This is life. This is what you want.
Correct. People who supported you in your career.
There are a couple of people who have impacted me in my career. Obviously, foremost is my father. What he's taught me, I don't think anybody can, because what he taught me is how to be humble, how to be grounded, how to be a simple person, because they say simplicity attracts positivity, it attracts people, and the more simple you are, the more people will teach you. When you try to show that you know more, people will go far from you. But when you try to show that, you are all ears, you're listening, people will share with you many things and even teach you many things, So these are, few instances about where my father has impacted me in my life. Then there are a few friends of mine, so I have, obviously, as I'm born here, I have friends who we used to play football with, who we used to be in school with. Today, even they are millionaires, they are billionaires, some are, reach greater heights, and some are, at different levels in life. But all of them today, when we have a reunion, and when we sit together, and we have a majlis where we sit together, we all are equal. Nobody cares millions, billions. All they care about is who's smiling more.
Yeah.
This is important.
Young people who want to start a business in industry.
For the young people, I would say, the time is now. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
People often make a mistake of thinking what I will do tomorrow, what I'll do tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you're thinking for tomorrow, then, they say...
You will never succeed.
Yeah, because tomorrow will always be tomorrow.
Correct.
So if you are thinking something, start now. Because if you start now, then you will make path for tomorrow, And the greatest or the biggest mistake, people make is, when they have an idea, that idea is not shared, or that idea is not, actually put in action, And when that idea is not put in action on time, somebody else will use that idea, or will, think of that idea and probably implement before you will do, So it's like, you think of something, act today. That idea is going to be successful in the future, go for it, and don't think too much about failures. The more you fail, the greater you will succeed, because failures is a part to success.
Correct.
So if you don't, the harder you fail, the stronger and more successful you will be. Every successful person has had failures. I've read and I've seen, say from Mr. Muhammad Al-Ahbar, Imar. Then I have seen like this many instances where those successful people, say Tesla, he was on the verge to get bankrupt, but today he is the richest person in the world. So these are the reasons where you fight for what you want, you will fail, and when you fail, only you will learn, and you will be successful. So the youth, do not compare or see, what's happening around. What you feel right within you is what will make you successful, and go for it. This is what I feel.
Finally, Mr. Muaz, Sharjah Chamber.
I had the opportunity to become a member of Sharjah Chamber. It was 2 years back. And when I became the member, it actually enlightened me in many, many ways in all the advantages Sharjah actually even had. Before I would see Sharjah as a person, but as a businessman, I started noticing Sharjah after being part of the chamber. The chamber has so many, they have so many platforms where people actually, if they utilize and actually come close to the chamber, then they will, they help you participate in exhibitions. They help you meet foreign delegations. Then they help you with all the different departments where, say, for example, SIVA, or the free zones, or there is other mainland companies, say municipality. Then whatever your requirements are there in order to establish a business and run smoothly, the chamber is the perfect platform, a link, a key to all those departments.
Amazing.
So it could be economic department for licenses, it could be foreign affairs, it could be municipality, it could be SIVA, it could be any department. But if you go and knock the door of the chamber will lay the platform for your success as a company. So I would suggest come to the chamber with any of your requirement, and the chamber will make sure that it is fulfilled.
Mr. Muaz Nuruddin, thank you so much for your informative answers and to being part of the business impact at Sharjah Chamber. Hope I see you soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.